So we're going to kick off on Apple TV Plus with a feature-length documentary called Stiller and Meara, Nothing is Lost. And here's a clip.
We come from a showbiz family.
Now the comedy of Stiller and Meara.
Jerry Stiller and Anne Meara.
Anne Meara and Jerry Stiller.
We grew up around them working together and improvising, and that's what we did, because they did it.
You're looking at not only my partner in comedy, this is the mother of my two kids.
This is the father of one.
So, of course, we're all well aware of Ben Stiller, who is one of the comedy greats from America, also has directed things, and he directs this. And it's close to home because it's all about his mum and dad, Jerry Stiller and Anne Meara, who, I mean, people will be aware of Jerry, I guess, in the UK because, I mean, he has been in films with Ben. I think he was in There's Something About Mary, which is hilarious. Oh, no, I'll tell you what he was in. He was in The Heartbreak Kid, which, seek it out, it's very, very funny. And he was also in the original version of The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 with Walter Matthau, which is a classic film. But in America, they were a big deal as a showbiz couple. And so you see Ben, he starts it quite nicely, actually. So he's with his sister and they're in the family house surrounded by, you know, books and photographs. And he's talking about, well, how am I going to approach this? How are we going to do it? You see some terrific footage of, like, they used to go on chat shows, the mum and dad, and they bring the kids on as well and get them to do things like play the violin. So it's rather sweet. And also, you know, growing up in a showbiz family, of course, has its challenges, you know, and I've always had that impression from Stiller. I really like him. I think he's hilarious, and things like Meet the Parents and Zoolander. He's superb. So many things he's done. But I guess there was quite a lot of pressure on him growing up with those famous parents. And, you know, there's a lot about their relationship. They're quite an interesting couple. I think they complemented each other. She's very, very kind of easy, natural and confident, whereas you feel like the dad, he has to try harder, you feel, at what he does. Yeah, they could talk about their ups and downs. And yeah, you see, I'd completely forgotten that Jerry was in The Taking of Pelham. He's like the transit cop. So yeah, it's a fascinating documentary, and I learned a lot because I wasn't really aware of how big the parents were in the States as a double act, you know, and also the mum was a very good straight actor as well. So yeah, I thought it was really nicely done. A lovely documentary. What did you think, Hannah?
I enjoy stuff like this. I mean, I'm quite invested in celebrity, given, you know, my job title, I suppose. And I often realise or know, and it's so clear, what you see in front of the cameras is very, very different to what's behind the cameras. And we also know with comedians as well, don't we, that they're often very, very different as people than they are when they're doing their stand-up or whatever it might be. You know, we kind of know that that's fact. But this is really interesting because you see behind the curtain, don't you, here? You really see someone's life, as you say, being brought up by people who were stars themselves. So as child stars have got a reputation, I think, of going off the rails, and Ben Stiller hasn't done that in the same way as we've seen others do it. But I think it's really interesting to see it through his eyes and seeing those kind of lines that have been blurred, because his parents were, you know, entertaining millions of Americans with their comedy act, and their children were at home. Okay, they probably had all the money to have all the best nannies and everything else, but that's not a normal, in inverted commas, childhood, is it? So I think you see behind that, and I don't think he's particularly complaining of that. It's a different way of being brought up. And I think it's really easy to blame and say, oh, but he's where he is. Probably he's clearly got talent, but because of them, you know, he's got some natural talent, but also, you know, he managed to get into the business before everybody else because of them. So I think that, it's a really... it feels very authentic, a very true account, and not just a moan fest.